Hi, this is Brittany from Geekery TV, and this is a channel where we usually talk about things that I'm geeking out about, you know, TV shows, movies, things like that. Today is not one of those days. Today I am going to very candidly, and probably to the detriment of hurting people's feelings, or upsetting people, which is not my intention. I'm gonna talk to you about what it's like to have cancer. I was really hoping I wouldn't cry so early, but it doesn't surprise me because I'm super emotional today. February 17th of 2015, I was diagnosed with uterine cancer. My doctor walked in after I had a DNC and a biopsy. I'm not going to go into all of the medical stuff. If you want to know what the symptoms are or the side effects or all that stuff, look it up your damn self, because this is not that's not what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about the medical side of it at all. I want to talk about the very real life ramifications that come with having cancer and being young. So my doctor came in. He was like, he's a no bullshit kind of guy, so he just said, "Hey, you have cancer." And I stopped breathing. And I had two thoughts simultaneously. I asked him what kind of cancer it was. He told me it was uterine cancer, and two thoughts rushed through my mind at the same time. One, so very, very vain, and if you happen to know me, then it makes complete sense. And then the other one, so heartbreaking that I haven't said it out loud to anybody else. In that moment, I thought, I can't lose my hair, which is terrible and vain and all of those things, but you know, it's the truth. I can't imagine not having all of this. It's part of my identity. It's part of me. So I thought that, and then in the same moment, I thought, how am I ever going to find a man to love me if I can't give him children? And that was so earth-shattering to think that that's it. I'm never, ever, ever going to be a mother. I'm never going to bring a baby home and go through all those milestones. And so my doctor, he's wonderful. You know, he explained everything, explained that I'm going to have hysterectomy. There may be a way to harvest some eggs, possibly, but that I need to see a gynecological oncologist. He gave me two options of places to go. One being a local hospital that's perfectly fine. The other being the James Cancer Center at Ohio State University. Obviously, you take the university when you can. So that's let's see, that was on a Thursday. On Tuesday, I was meeting with my oncologist, who is fantastic. She's young, and she gets how important women's health is, especially when it comes to all your reproductive organs, because they handle everything. So my mother went with me. We had lots of questions. I had to have an exam. She was reading the pathology reports. Basically what it boils down to is she said, I don't want to sterilize you. I don't want to give you a hysterectomy. Okay, it's been a few months. So basically, she put me on a medication called Megestrol acetate, or Megace. It is also called. I take it 4 times a day, every 6 hours, 8 and 2, and 8 and 2. I take it with some other medications. I have a very nice case, medicine case. So I've got this little guy all the time, except that I have it's every day of the week. I've got, it's a big case, and they pop out, which is really convenient for work and things like that. Getting cancer is not the worst part about having cancer. My cancer it's stage 1, which means I get to keep my hair for now. I just take the medications, and then every 3 months I have to go in for a biopsy. So I had a biopsy in May. The biopsy came back looking really good. Looking like, hey, the medication's working. No precancerous cells or cancer cells. That doesn't mean I don't have cancer. I'm still a cancer patient. I am still terrified every day. I have another biopsy in a month. Actually, 28 days. And it'll be the same thing, and we'll find out if the medication is still working. If it's still working, I have a possibility that I can try to have a child. If you know me, you know that is the most important thing in the world to me, is to be a mother. So the possibility that it may never happen it's one of the worst things I could ever imagine. Cancer's easy. Having your dreams crushed is a whole different story. But it's a distinct possibility, and I have to get in that mindset that it may not happen. My doctor, my oncologist, she's very positive that because I'm responding well, that I may be okay, and after this biopsy, if it still looks good, she may give me the go-ahead to try. Previously, she thought it was going to be a year that I was going to be on this medication, doing biopsies every 3 months. So we'll see what happens. That stuff is easy. The emotional roller coaster of being sick is awful. I don't look sick. Most of the time I don't feel sick. So, that's good. I don't want to look sick. I don't want to look chemo sick. Which is still a possibility that I may have to do it, depending. so many things are unknown and so many things are up in the air, and it's really, really stressful for me because I don't like gray areas in anything. I don't like gray areas in relationships. I don't like gray areas in any sort of facet of my life. That being said, my life has become nothing but a gray area. And some days I am on top of the world and I am fine. And other days, I wish I would have just had the hysterectomy and dealt with the issues, because I am at my wit's end all the time. On those days, it's just all I can do not to just lose it and email my doctor saying, let's just schedule the surgery. I can't do this. I guarantee one of the parts that compounds it is that the medication I'm on is a souped up version, a souped up synthetic version of the PMS hormone, because my body doesn't produce it. So it's we're fighting the cancer, which is estrogen driven, with fake progesterone to try and give me some sort of possibility at having a normal life. But I'm fighting this on my own. I have no husband. I have no boyfriend. I have what I feel like is 3 people who give a shit, who even say, hey, how are you today? Are you okay? Or, hey, I saw your Facebook post. Are you alright? And that is, oh no, I'm Lauren Conrading. And that's very frustrating. Because it's been said that no man is an island. Oh. Well, you've never been 32, a woman and alone, and have cancer. Because you're an island. And no one wants to visit that island. And it's awful. There are days that I am pretty sure no one cares. That no one says, hey, Brittany, are you okay? Or, hey, I was thinking about you. Just wanted to check in. It was the hardest thing I could do to post that I had cancer on Facebook, and I knew I had to do it on Facebook because I couldn't call all those people. I could barely talk to face-to-face the people that I love the most and I work with and I'm related to. It was terrible. So it took me weeks to be able to post it on Facebook, and when I did, I felt so good, and I got this outpouring of support from these people. And my Facebook is very select, so it was mostly almost all people I know, friends that I've met through the years, or family members. So I felt really supported and really loved, and I felt like, okay, I'm gonna get through this. I've got all these people behind me. I was amazed at the people who didn't say anything, who I always thought were gonna be really good friends with me forever. I know everybody deals with hearing bad news in different ways. I also know that nobody knows how to talk to me. And so they don't. That's exactly how it feels. And I already disclaimed this, that I'm probably going to hurt people's feelings. But I deserve to be selfish right now. So, that's the way it feels. I am on my own in this. If it wasn't for the fact that I have to drive an hour and a half to have a biopsy, I would go to those appointments by myself. I don't want to be an inconvenience to anybody. And I know nobody knows how to talk to me, and honestly, I feel like everybody's afraid all I'm going to want to do is talk about cancer. No. It's one of the last things I want to talk about. I understand that it is part of my life, but I don't think anybody gets that I am in my head all the time. I work from 9 to 5:30 with my mother, which is great because she's the only person who listens to me, listens to my true feelings about this. Because it's easy for people on the outside. You say things like, oh, you can adopt, or you can harvest your eggs, or any other stupid, dumbass thing that you can say that's insulting and hurtful and mean, because I can't harvest my eggs, because I can't afford it. I can't afford the harvesting, the freezing, and the IVF. I can't afford those things unless you're going to give me approximately $30,000 for everything. It's never going to happen. I'm never going to be given a child. No one's ever going to let me adopt a child. You know why? Because I don't have the money, I don't own a home, I'm not married, I'm 30, almost 33, and I have cancer. You know who they don't give children to? People who have cancer. I've got to have, according to what I've read, I've got to have 5 years of remission. And the doctors sign off on that. That's great. But we're over halfway through the year and I'm not in remission yet. I'm still sick. Actively got cancer. So that puts me at approximately 38 to 39 years old before I can even try to adopt. They don't like to give kids to people who are close to 40 because you're going to die before that kid is grown up. There's a distinct possibility of that. So no, I can't adopt. I can't harvest my eggs. I have one shot to have a child and to be a mother. And no one understands that. No one I know gets how isolating this is. I wish I could make everybody understand how frustrating and alone it feels. And if you're watching this and you have cancer and you're young, I don't know if it gets better. I know that there are days where I feel like I'm on top of the world. And then there are days I feel like everyone has abandoned me. And I'm gonna die. And I'm gonna die alone. And it's awful. And I have had friends who have, made efforts. They have, we've gone to brunch, or we've done we've done little things. And that's wonderful, and it's very appreciated. But I don't need that. I mean, I enjoy it, believe me. But what I really need is, I think what everybody needs who is sick, is to know that they're thought of. I don't ask for help. That's not who I am. I can't do it. But I need to feel important. And most of the time I only feel important to one possibly 2 people. You know, I talked to my mother. Obviously, we work together. I talked to my sister, too. I can't talk to my dad. He can't do it. He cries and cries and cries, and he is so afraid, and he can't fix it, so he does everything he can to avoid it. I've only seen a couple of friends in the last few months. I know part of it is they have no idea what to say to me, and they don't know how to act around me, and they don't know what's okay and what's not. And honestly, neither do I, because I have no idea what will trigger me and hurt my feelings or make me cry, which obviously today I'm doing a lot of. I don't know, but I feel like everybody's given up. Now I know that all of my friends are married, and they have children, and they have work, and they've got other friends, and that life is much easier to deal with, and I get it. I do. Would I want to hang around with the mopey cancer girl? No. But the mopey cancer girl needs someone. I'm not saying to baby me. I'm not saying to go out of your way. I'm not saying to do any of that bullshit, because that's not what I want. What I'd like occasionally is a text message that says, hey, are you okay? Or, hey, I'm in your neighborhood and I'm going to stop by just to hug you. Because I'm doing this alone. And no one can... no one can understand how isolating illness is. Especially when you don't look sick. People kind of forget. It really happens. You kind of forget you're sick. You don't look sick. Especially not cancer sick. You know, you've got all your hair. You've got most of your regular energy. You know, you still work 6 days a week. You know, you don't look sick. You don't act sick. And that's true. And I thank God for that, because I wouldn't want to be that kind of sick. But I'm still sick, and I'm still scared. And there are days when I just don't feel like anybody cares. And if you've got cancer, and you're watching, or any sort of like long-term, life-altering illness, and you're watching this, there are days you are just going to feel completely alone, and there is nothing anybody can do to fix that. Because when they finally realize that they've forgotten you, it'll be too late. Now, I'm not trying to crucify anybody. I'm not trying to make any of my friends feel bad. I am just trying to get people to understand that you already feel so alone because you're ill, and you don't... This isn't like a cold. This isn't like something you can compare. Everybody's cancer experience is different. And I think even if you had a partner, it would still be isolating a little bit, because they're not going through it too. The problem is I'm going through it completely alone. So I can't help but get a little upset. I had so much more I wanted to say. I'm so lost. And I am a super hyper emotional person anyway. And anybody who knows me knows that. But I have never, I have been on the edge of a very thin sword a lot of years of my life. I have fought depression. I have fought suicidal urges. And I made it out. And that's great. Even during those darkest days, I never felt as alone and adrift as I do now. I don't know if that ever gets better. I want to say it does. I want to say, guess what? Hey, us cancer people, we're gonna be fine. But I can't. I can't hold on to that sort of false hope. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to have a vital organ removed. Most people don't think it's that important. Don't ask a man, because he'll tell you, just have the surgery, just get it taken out. Which is great in theory, except that I'm a woman and the one thing I was made to do is in that organ, and I may not get to do it, and that I can't let go of yet. I want to. At the same time, if one more person tells me to fight like a girl, I'm gonna punch him in the face. I'm gonna show him how a girl really fights, because it's so condescending. How about just fight like a person who's trying to live? Because that's how I'm fighting. It may not seem like it to anybody else because I'm just taking pills, but I'm taking 11 and 12 pills a day. And I am working out hard, and I am eating better, and I have cut things out of my diet, and I am trying, because that's all I can do. I'm not taking chemo. I'm not taking radiation. I'm not in and out of doctor's offices all the time. All I can do is what my doctor has told me to do. So don't tell me to fight like a girl. It's such shitty advice. Don't tell me that I'm super strong and I'm gonna beat this. Yeah, I've already decided. I've got grade 1 cancer. The cancer's not gonna kill me. The stress might, but not the cancer. But that's the shittiest thing I've ever heard. Like, you can beat this because you're strong. What about those people who fought and fought and fought and finally just died of cancer? Well, did they not deserve to live because they didn't fight hard enough? No. They did the best they could. And I know that's all most people do, is the best they can. But sometimes, in very rare occasions, sometimes someone's best needs to be better for someone else. So, in summation, if you have cancer of any sort, and you feel completely adrift and alone and angry and scared, I think that's probably completely normal. If you know someone who has cancer and they feel alone and adrift and completely scared, just be there. If you feel like you haven't done enough for someone, I don't care, cancer or not, do it. Because you never know when someone may not be there anymore. I am the world's worst person when it comes to making plans. I know this. I have extreme social anxiety even with my own friends. I get freaked out and I never want to suggest anything because they have kids and they have husbands and they have jobs, and I have a job. That's it. Everyone knows that from 5:30 on, Brittany's free. So I never try and make plans because they never work out and then I'm just disappointed. But from 5:30 until I go to bed at approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, I am free and open unless I have stated otherwise. I know it seems like I'm asking a lot. I'm not trying to. But today I feel like shit. And every time there's a random pain, I get so scared. And I'm like, oh God, that's the cancer. My body's acclimated to the pills and now the cancer is attacking hardcore. But who do I have to talk to about this? My mother. My mother, who has enough on her plate to not have to worry about her 32-year-old child being scared and alone and sick. So I'm sure that I will probably do another couple of videos about being a cancer patient as things progress. Maybe one that's a little more informational and a less hostile, because I'm not stupid. I know that I am being hostile. I know that I'm amped up. My feelings are, you know, all over the place, and I'm frustrated. And I'm alone. And I'm scared. So I know that that is part of my rant today is just that. And I even wore my peach shirt because peach is the color of uterine cancer, which is the most disgusting color, but that's what I'm stuck with. That's the kind of cancer I have. And yeah, lots of famous women have had it. Wonderful, beautiful, famous women. If you want to know more about uterine cancer, I suppose you can leave comments and ask questions, and I will get to them. You can always Google. I will do a more informational video probably in September, just because that's Gynecological Cancer Awareness Month. So probably then. I'm sorry that I cried like the whole time. I am just hyper emotional today. And I just don't think it's going to change anytime soon. So this was a super downer. But for Geekery TV, I'm Brittany. Have a good night.